Good evening, everybody. We'll go ahead and get hello. We'll go ahead and get started. For those of you all want to make sure you're in the right place. We're at the Planning Commission for a meeting tonight. We will begin with, if you'd please join me in the pledge to the flag over here. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chair Wolf.
Here.
Vice Chair Roby.
Here.
Member List. Here. Member Lowry.
Here.
Member Friend.
We'll move on to item 1, items 1.1 and 1.2 on the consent calendar. Does anybody have anything, any comments, corrections? Do you have your mic on? I do. I got a white light. So. About now. Loose connection here.
Yeah, I think the XLR connector is about wore out.
Yeah. Either that or it's me. Anyway, we're on item 1.1 and 1.2, the consent calendar. I'll assume we have approval of the consent calendar by. Hello. Hello. Thank you. Yeah, nobody really wants to. Testing, testing. We have rehearsed this comedy routine.
I mean, just hold it and try it.
Testing. That's going to work. So we'll just pass this around. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Okay, we'll get back on track here. We're up to items of interest to the public. This is the public comment section of the meeting where the audience is invited to speak to the commission on anything that's not on tonight's agenda. And we'd like to limit your comments to 3 minutes if we can. So if anybody would like to address the commission, this is your opportunity.
Good evening, Commission. Mike Drobish, Placerville. First off, I think it's fairly new, but I see the City of Placerville flag there, flying higher than the Stars and Stripes. If somebody could make that lower. Question, sign ordinance. Signs that are allowed, not allowed in the city. Just some questions on our regulation of the built environment. Are exterior neon signs allowed or not allowed in the city? Are sandwich boards allowed or not allowed in the city? Are electronic reader boards with moving words allowed or not allowed in the city? A couple of questions I think the public might like to know. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a well-honed comedy routine with the microphones here tonight. Did you get one that works?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right.
I have a comment I'd like to make.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
This is addressed to the staff. A few months ago, we had the Jack Russell Brewery come before us. We talked about outdoor lighting. And if you drive by there now, it looks like a lighted up Constantine wire around the outside of it. And I wondered, that was not in the agreement we had on lighting. So we may want to take a look at that.
All right, we're kind of out of order, but that's something that I'm glad you communicated to the staff. So we'll go ahead and move on to written communications.
Tonight we have an addition to your item 5.2. The applicants have provided some door information regarding their request tonight. So I provided a copy of that to you. There are also copies of this information in the back of the room. So once again, this is item 5.2 tonight.
Okay, I have a few things I have to go through first, and then you'll get a chance to talk.
Thank you.
So we'll go ahead and open the public hearing on item 5.1 at 2946 Coloma Street, site plan review 17-01. It's a request by the property owners for site plan review to replace 9 wood frame single pane windows with dual pane white vinyl retrofit windows in their existing openings, and approval of an existing vinyl window without permits. Site is within the Coloma Spring Street Residential Historic District. And we have I believe we can start with the staff report.
Yeah, this item tonight is the first of 2 projects tonight that involve window replacements within historic districts. The request is by Craig Beckley of Permit Services. He's in the audience this evening, and will be representing the property owners Roger Fiddler and Sharon Moorhead, and they own the property at 2946 Coloma. It is approximately 50 feet southeast of the intersection of Spring and Coloma Streets. As you mentioned in the intro, this project site is located within the Spring Coloma Street Residential Historic District, as well as has a zoning of single-family residential. The attachment A of your staff report contains the applicant's submittal package, including window replacement locations, the details regarding from the window manufacturer, project narrative, photos of the site, as well as photos of neighboring properties. This request would replace 9 windows, as you mentioned, in their existing openings along the west, north, and east elevations of the single-family residence with white vinyl window inserts. The approval of the existing double window located along the west elevation is also before you this evening, and that was installed without a permit or Planning Commission review or approval. County records indicate that this home has an estimated built date of 1900. The home has cross-gabled architecture. The windows are a combination of original 1/1 single hung windows with wood sash and trim.
Thank you.
Along with the 1 vinyl window insert I mentioned earlier. The exterior siding consists of wood shiplap. Rehabilitation of the home began in 2016 when the home was re-roofed using a composition shingle and received a building permit for that activity. The home is not listed in the city's historic resource inventory, the State Register of Historic Places, or the National Register of Historic Places. Whenever exterior alterations to a building that is visible from this public street and located in a city historic district, then the Planning Commission is charged with review and approval prior to the city issuance of a permit for the activity proposed. The Commission is required to use the criteria under the Site Plan Review section of City Code 1049, as well as the Historic Buildings Ordinance under Section 10410 of City Code. Staff finds that the proposed work will not diminish the historic integrity of the district, and in fact will complement the site and surrounding area through the use of materials that match the appearance of those that exist on the home. Staff recommends the Commission by motion make the findings prepared on page 6 of staff's report, and then conditionally approve Site Plan Review 17-1, subject to the conditions of approval on pages 6 and 7. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my staff report.
Thank you. Any questions of staff before we open this up for comment from the owner and the public? Okay, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing on this item, and customarily we begin with any comments from the applicant. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Craig Beckley here of Placerville. And unless there's questions of me, I have no additional information to provide at this time.
Any questions of? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any public comment on this item? Any other questions of staff? Okay, I'll go ahead and close the public comment portion on this item. Thank you again. And bring it back to the commission for discussion and action. Possible action. Nobody wants to say anything here. Okay.
I'd be happy to move approval, Mr. Chairman, if there's no objection from fellow commissioners.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure I have my verbiage right.
I was looking,
I'll second that.
for the numbers. So it's been moved and seconded that the request be approved.
I'm sorry.
You gonna
I'd like to make a little
stipulate?
bit more formal motion. I just, for some reason, misshoveled my papers.
Good.
and
I was
so-
going to do it for you. That's
Okay.
fine. I lost my page too.
Let's see. Why am I not seeing the numbers
On
here?
page 6.
Yeah, I've got page 6, but I need this. So I'm going to move the request of site plan review 1701. That's what I was looking for the replacement of the 9 wood single frame pane windows with dual pane white vinyl retrofit windows in their existing openings, and the approval of an existing vinyl window place without permits with the findings Roman numeral 1 A through E, and as specified on page 6 of the staff report, and Roman numeral 2, the conditions of approval 1 through 9 is stated with no additional conditions.
Is that amenable to the seconder?
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? Call the question by roll call, please.
Member Friend?
Aye.
Member Lowry?
Aye.
Member List?
Aye.
Chair Wolf?
Aye.
Vice Chair Roby? Aye.
It's great. Sometimes it's good to say nothing. Okay, we'll move on to close the hearing on that item 5.1 and move on to item 5.2, request by property owners for site plan review to replace 12 wood frame, single pane, single hung windows with dual pane, white vinyl, single hung retrofit windows in their existing openings and replace 2 exterior doors and encasements with pre-hung exterior doors. And we'll have a staff report, please.
Yes, this is the second of tonight's window replacement historic district review projects. This one is located at 2880 Norman Street. It's located within the Bedford Clay Street Residential Historic District. Site plan review application number 17-02. The property owners, John and Susie McFarland, request the site plan review approval to replace 12 wood frame, single pane, double hung windows with dual pane, white vinyl, single hung retrofit windows in their existing openings, as well as replace 2 exterior doors and encasements with pre-hung exterior doors. The door aspect of the request is further facilitated by the additional information that I mentioned earlier in tonight's agenda. So once again, this is the applicants. They are looking at, looks like 3 different door options, and I think they're going to further discuss those with you when they get an opportunity to come before you tonight. County records indicate that this home has an estimated date construction back in 1906. The home's characteristic features include its gable roof, its front bay, lap siding, recessed entry door, the single and double hung 1/1 single pane windows, as well as a covered porch deck along the home's north elevation. The home is not listed on the city's historic resource inventory, the state register of historic places, or the National Register. As I mentioned earlier in the previous item, exterior alterations that are visible from the street within historic districts come before the Planning Commission under the site plan review and historic buildings in the city ordinances. Staff finds that proposed work will not diminish the historic integrity of the district, and in fact will complement the site and surrounding area through the use of materials that match the appearance of those existing. In regards to the submittal tonight, staff had a brief opportunity to look at the doors proposed. Staff has no objection on any of the 3 that are proposed and shown in your additional packet of information tonight. Staff recommends that the commission by motion make the findings on pages 5 and 6 of staff's report and conditionally approve the request, site plan review 17-02, subject to the conditions of approval on pages 6 and 7. The property owners are in the audience tonight, and I believe they do want to talk a little bit about the doors requested tonight.
Thank you, Andrew. Any questions of staff before we open the hearing? All right, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing on item 5.2 and invite the applicant to discuss it.
Do you have any questions regarding the doors? My name is Susie McFarland. My husband is John. Yes.
He was just saying hi.
Oh,
That's like an official planning commission
just
hi.
saying hi. Really, the need for the replacement of the doors is in the window packet. I did enclose a page with all the damage to the wood doors and the options that were presented to you tonight. We're leaning toward option number 1, labeled number 1, and that would be for both doors to replace. That is the style most consistent with the original style that is currently on the home, and that would be used on both of the doors. So if you don't have any further questions, that's all I really had to say. Just trying to be more energy efficient with the windows and the doors and make it more safe due to all the damage in the existing wood frame.
I just wanted to thank you for providing this tonight.
Okay.
It helps us for completeness.
Thank you.
I will make one observation. This is not a criticism, but unfortunately, you may have to come before us with other items for your home because it's a very old home.
Right.
Color photographs are always very helpful,
Oh, okay.
as opposed to the black and whites. The
Okay.
previous applicant had color, which was really helpful. We can certainly get it done with this, but if
Okay.
you have the misfortune of having to come back here for something else and bring some color,
Okay,
thank you.
yeah.
I just want to thank you for the quality of your package. It was put together very well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We don't get to say that all the time.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the applicant? Okay, anyone, thank you. Anyone else wishing to address this item? All right, we'll bring it back to the commission for discussion and action. Any discussion? Okay, I'll move approval of item 5.2 in keeping with findings 1A through E on pages 5 and 6 of the staff report, and the conditions of approval 1 through 10 on pages 6 and 7 of the staff report.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Chair Wolf,
Aye.
Vice Chair Roby,
Aye.
Member Friend.
Aye.
Member List.
Aye.
Member Lowry.
Aye.
Thank you. So we'll move on to, that closes the items 5.2 and 5.1 discussion tonight. We'll move on to matters from planning commissioners. Now it's the time to talk about that.
Sorry.
But they already got it. Okay, anything else?
So based upon the two items that we just had this evening, and this is not the first time that this has come up, I'm just wondering, and I guess I'll direct it to my fellow commissioners first, staff can certainly chime in, as to, would it be possible for this kind of approval to be administrative at the staff level, particularly for homes that are not listed? They're in the district, I get it, but they're not listed. These always seem to be extremely straightforward. I don't want to say there's not a whole lot of thought that needs to go into it, but it does seem to me that something that can be handled administratively. I'm not trying to get out of any work, don't misunderstand, but to save all the time and effort on everyone's part, I'm just wondering if that's something that could or should be considered.
And just to chime in there a little bit, I've kind of thought the same thing in that, you know, back in the day, we used to always have the discussion about, oh my gosh, it's not wood. But that wheel has rolled on. So I kind of agree with you. And ask the staff, is there some way to handle this at a ministerial level?
Staff has had conversations with some of the council members, and there is interest on the city council to look at revising the code that would grant staff a little greater authority in approving these more, let's just say, simple types of applications. I think in general, we're looking at an historic district where it's very important to the city, and so we can certainly look at making it easier for an applicant to go through in a more administrative or over-the-counter type permit with the staff, or staff would have approval subject to appeal, of course, to the Planning Commission. But it might be a little bit more sensitive to relax the regulations in our historic districts, but we can certainly, when we bring that back to the council with some staff recommendations, we can move it forward that the Planning Commission did ask staff about also reducing some of these more simple modifications with residential uses in the historic districts.
Would it simplify matters or make it more difficult if that request and recommendation came from the Planning Commission as opposed to staff? I mean, how can we best help?
Yeah, when staff gets around to actually preparing some recommendations to the council, well, actually, we would bring those first to the Planning Commission so that we would get your comments on any of these changes before bringing it to the council.
All right. Anybody else?
I had one quick follow-up comment on Commissioner request for maybe a higher quality of renderings, drawings, photos. I know on one of the items it said, okay, here's an example of this situation, which, you know, we would want to replace the windows, and here are a couple others. I was looking at it and said, okay, I'm assuming it's there, but I can't see it because it's a fairly low quality black and white. I would kind of follow up on the request for maybe a little higher definition if it came to you know, the point where we actually needed to see something that was in the photo. It might be a little bit easier for us to make our decisions based on that information and not just kind of a, like I said, the low quality. I would like to see that somehow. Maybe, I don't think you can make it a prerequisite, but some sort of, you know, digital media or high-res photo from the applicant would be greatly appreciated.
As to the information regarding 5.2 that came late, I received this tonight, so
Yeah.
there was no way for us to
Vet it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
I
get
wasn't.
color.
I wasn't actually talking about the doors. I was talking about master facing north, master mold, et cetera, et cetera. And I was looking at those photos. I'm assuming it's there. Otherwise, they wouldn't choose to come before us to get this taken care of. But just, I'd like to see that in the future, if at all possible.
Any other-
I'll go ahead and chime in on that. It's very, very simple, I think, with the technology we have. You know, Google Earth. You can do street views. We can easily print color, you know, fairly recent. We would verify that it's not from 20 years ago, but we can verify some recent pictures where we can then provide elevations with these types of applications. It should be fairly simple to augment the staff report with those.
Okay. Anything else from planning commissioners? Matters from staff?
Yes, the regular meeting of this body on the 21st will not be held, but you all will be expected to be in this building on the following evening for a joint meeting with the City Council, the Park and Rec Commission, and yourselves to discuss the city's park master plan. So again, that'll be at 6 p.m. Wednesday, February 22nd in this building, 6 o'clock. Next week at the council meeting, the City Council will consider the Wilbur Howe parking lot appeal, the sidewalk dining regulations that came before you a few months back. So Director Rivas will bring that forward to City Council. Also, the second reading and adoption of the Housing Opportunity Overlay Zone for the Middletown Road, Cold Springs Road, and Placerville Drive site is scheduled for that date. The 28th meeting of the City Council will hear a request by the city involving a resolution of intention to make amendments to the city zoning code related to secondary dwelling units. There's been some changes in state law that the city must, by law, must change our code to reflect those. And so the resolution of intent by council will direct staff to initiate those changes. And since it involves a change to the zoning code, you as planning commissioners will get a chance to see those changes that staff will bring forward and make its recommendation to City Council at some future date I don't have the date of that at this particular time. We will have a meeting on the first meeting in March, as well as the second meeting in March. We anticipate having items on both those dates. So that's a little background of what's coming up. I think Director Rivas has also a public comment or a...
Can I ask you a question on
Sure.
the change to second dwellings? Being kind of a zoning nerd, I'm curious on what the basis of the change is.
Well, since it's not an agenda item, I really can't go into much detail about it, but it involves some text amendments that state law now will require the city to incorporate in its language, as well as processing, and even some fee-related provisions in there as well. So,
But have I guess what I was much more interested in, have the regulations regulating the size and location, et cetera, have those changed for second dwellings?
they are further stipulated in this new language. The city's generally in compliance with, I would say, most of it, but we do need to make some changes to that document. And yes, size will be one of those issues that will come up.
All right, thank you.
I would just add that the State Housing and Community Development did provide us with a information package that explains the new ordinances at the state level that the city is going to have to implement. So we can certainly email that document to you, and I think it's pretty well written and comprehensive. It explains all the Senate bills and that basically cause these changes to come into effect on January 1st of this year.
Yeah, we could make that available to you at your March 7th meeting.
All right, thank you. Yeah. Anything else? I'm going to assume we have a consensus for adjournment.
Mr. Chairman, I had one last item I just wanted to share with you. There is what's called the California Retail Survey that was performed, and this is the 2016 edition of the California Survey, and it basically did an in-depth analysis of all 58 counties and 480 cities in the state of California. And I'm just sort of pleased to announce that the city of Placerville made the list. And basically, this list is the top 50 cities in the state in terms of the sales per capita. So that's just the overall sales. So the number one is the city of Industry at basically $3.6 million per person. And the fifth...
That's an outlier. City of Industry is like not really a town, you know?
Isn't that where the Raiders are building their...
And then the bottom of that list is Palo Alto, which is at Palo Alto at $23,404 per person. Placerville is ranked at number 24, I believe. No, where are we? 42. So we're 42 at $25,281 per person. Yeah. I mean, I was really surprised with some of these. Like the city of Colfax is 18 at $34,627 per person. I mean, that's kind of a smaller town. I don't know. They must have some large big boxes there where people spend a lot of money. But anyways, it was nice to see that the city of Placerville continues to do very, very well in retail sales. So I just wanted to report that to you. Thank you.
Interesting.
And Andrew, I think you're thinking of the city of Irwindale. Okay. That's where Al Davis was going to build his stadium in a spent gravel pit, either Raider crater.
That's right.
Population 1,500 in Irwindale.
I'm very familiar with those gravel pits in Irwindale. And Irwindale made the list. They're number 6 at $79,651 per person.
So depending upon your point of view, you're either living in the right place or the wrong place. Okay, anything else from staff? Yeah, nobody wants to live there. Anything? All right, I assume we have a consensus for adjournment, and we're adjourned.
So if you raise the sales tax, does that increase your revenues and bump you up roads?
Probably does. Probably does. Now, we missed our chance to have a 15-minute meeting. We missed our chance to have a 15-minute meeting.